Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is KidLee. Another year, another BlizzCon is now behind us, and Blizzard has once again put on an amazing show this year. So I thought it'd be cool to make a little video just going over everything that was shown and everything that was said at BlizzCon, and gives me a chance just to ramble on for a little while. So let's go ahead and start with OverWatch. Now, if you've not heard of this game, I strongly recommend that you start doing some research on it now, because Overwatch is going to be the next big thing, I do believe. Not just the next big thing from Blizzard, but the really next big game that is going to be just released. I mean, I've had a chance to hear from a lot of the people who are currently in the closed beta, and there's hardly anybody saying anything negative about this game. Now, some people have said when it comes to World of Warcraft, and especially the World of Warcraft lore, they have said, you know, boy, I wish I would have gotten in on that on the start, just so I could really be immersed in that world. Well, if you're one of those people, then I strongly recommend that you get into Overwatch now, because some of the stuff that was announced for Overwatch is they're going to be doing books, they're going to be doing comics, they're even going to be doing these short little animated features to tell and to do stories all about this new franchise. It might be small now, but a couple years down the road, I have a feeling that it's going to be just as big as what Warcraft is now. It has that much potential. So let's get into some more items, what they talked about for just Overwatch. They went ahead and they announced 3 new heroes, Mei, Genji, and Diva, and they introduced a new map called Hollywood. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a quick little video here. So for those who might be familiar with Overwatch, or for people who are not familiar with Overwatch, go ahead and check out this video. This was a video that was shown at BlizzCon.
This is strength. You're covered.
Thanks, love.
That's tickles.
Fire in the hole! I saw that one coming.
Sniper.
The hunter lays the trap for his prey.
You didn't make the cut. I've got you in my sights. Target-rich environment. Get the payload moving. It's high noon. Draw. Justice ain't gonna dispense itself. Pardon me. Y'all had it coming.
Yeah, let's pick it up. Oh, let's break it. Damn! Get back.
I play to win. One for my highlight reel. Suiting up. Boosters engaged.
Let's fight for a better world.
Freeze! Don't move.
对不起了。
This will stop them.
You are nothing. We shall see, brother.
So there we go. That's definitely a cool little video. Like I said, I absolutely love what they're doing with this game. In fact, I love it so much, I am strongly considering having Overwatch be one of the main games that I feature on this YouTube channel. I'm really thinking hard about it. Now, I have been told, I had a little chat with the community manager for Overwatch, and I might be getting into the beta here very, very soon. And if that is the case, I'll be able to give you guys the full coverage on Overwatch as it happens. So, a couple more things on Overwatch, and a couple of the really big things is the pricing model going in was a huge question mark over top of this game. What were they going to do, and how were they going to do it? Well, they decided that they were going to go with basically the Diablo 3 model of you pay for it once and you're just going to get everything. So they're going to have 3 editions. The cheapest edition, I believe, is going to be $39.99. Then the first sort of special edition is $59, and then they're doing a full Grand Poobah Collector's Edition with a nice statue and all that stuff for, it's like 120, 130, somewhere in that range. So that's pretty much all that was said about Overwatch. Again, I personally think it looks fantastic, and I can't wait for it to be released in the spring. And actually, that was another surprise. Blizzard takes forever to make these games, and in some respects, they've been working on this for 7 years. Because if you didn't know, they were working on a project called Codename Titan. It was supposed to be their next big MMO. They couldn't get it to work. They scrapped it. They couldn't get it to work again. They scrapped it again. They scrapped it multiple times. But basically, what Titan was is what Overwatch is. So they were basically going to do an Overwatch MMO, and they couldn't get it to work. So what was left over is what we're now getting with Overwatch. And frankly, between you and me, I think an Overwatch MMO would have been amazing. It could have very well been that new MMO, that new big breakthrough MMO that we were all looking for. But unfortunately, odds are we'll never see it now. So let's go ahead and move on to Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. It was kind of funny. Most of the games had multiple panels at BlizzCon, anywhere between about 2 and 4 different panels. Diablo was the only one that only had one panel the entire weekend, which was a little strange. But I think what they had in that one panel pretty much covered everything that they needed to cover. They announced that there's going to be in the next patch, which is going to be 2.4, they're making a lot of really good additions and changes to Diablo. There's going to be 2 new areas, Eternal Woods and the Royal Quarters. There's going to be a new zone called the Grey Hollow Island, which will feature 7 new events and 16 new monster types. There will be over 175 new bounties and a new system that they're calling Set Dungeons. In addition to all that stuff, they are redesigning the buff UI based on player feedback, and they are bringing something from the Xbox and PlayStation version over to PC, which they call the Action Combat. So that's going to be pretty cool. They have heard that there is some players who have just so much gold, it's ridiculous, and so they wanted to put in a new system that would basically allow you to get rid of some of that gold. And it's called Empowered Rifts. And the baseline behind this, if you're familiar with the Diablo 3 Rift system, is you will be able to, you have to pay to actually get into these rifts. And depending on how difficult you want it to be and sort of the loot that goes along with it, you actually see on the screen here on how I have like the different tiers or ranges listed for that. There is the new Season 5 is starting up fairly soon. So what are the changes for Season 5? They announced that this round is going to last about 3 months. And they are also introducing something called the Rebirth system. And I've only got about half the details on this. But basically what it is they understood that there were a lot of players who, put so much time, money, and effort into their character, they didn't want everything to be wiped away just to do it again. So this Rebirth system, what it's going to do is when you start Season 5, you're at the character creation or character select screen, you'll be able to hit this Rebirth option. You hit yes, and it will mail all of your gear that you had in Season 4 or 3, or whatever. And I believe it saves some of your either stats or progression. And that gets saved. So when you start Season 5, again, you do have to start over from scratch, but you can still use that character. But later on, I believe if you want to go back to that, especially like the gear and stuff, you'll be able to do that very, very easily. They have decided that they are removing the season-only legendaries for Season 5. As part of that, they are now guaranteeing everyone a 6-piece set, if that makes sense to you Diablo fans. And sort of part of this Rebirth system, they did announce that there is going to be a new or more stash tabs, and you are now going to get 1 free stash tab per season with a max of 10. And, in addition to all that stuff that I just talked about, there's going to be new items, new tooltips. There's going to be a new companion comparison system for their gear, plus a lot more little stuff. Let's switch on over to StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Now, with this game coming out basically, as of this recording, it comes out this week. There really wasn't too much more that could be said about that game. There were a couple of items, though. They did talk about the new co-op missions, and it's basically you are able to take command in a brand new game mode where you and a friend fight hosts of enemies in an action-packed, objective-driven story missions. So that's pretty cool. But for the future of StarCraft, still stuff that's in spring 2016, but sort of after Legacy of the Void, they announced this new thing that they're calling mission packs. And the first set they're going to do is going to be 3 new mission packs in the spring. And it's sort of these solo, story-driven little adventure missions. So that's pretty cool for the StarCraft folks. Let's go ahead and switch over to Heroes of the Storm. which is a game that I've played a little bit, but I've got to say, after seeing some of the stuff that they're doing with this, it's pretty cool. It makes me want to play more. So for Heroes of the Storm, sort of the checklist of items they talked about, they are adding an all-new mode called the Arena, and they only released sort of partial information on this. What I do have is, in this new mode, you will have to choose from one of 3 random heroes and 1 heroic ability in an all-out war on a very, very small map. So it's going to be, it sounds like it's you and a bunch of other people basically just brawling it out. And it looks like in the little preview that they did that there was going to be some possible objectives to mess with or capture or something. But the overall reception of this new arena mode was pretty good. It looks like people are really looking forward to that and able to actually do something else in Heroes of the Storm. So that should be pretty cool. Heroes, they announced 4 new heroes, and 2 of them got really, really big receptions. The first 2 are Greymane and Lenara. I believe both of those are from World of Warcraft. The third one is actually Tracer from Overwatch. So the first confirmed Overwatch character into Heroes of the Storm. And the funny thing about that is it's possible that you might actually get to play Tracer in Heroes of the Storm before you get to play her in Overwatch, which is kind of funny. And then finally, and this is probably the most interesting one, they announced the 4th new hero as being Chokal. And here's what they said about this. It's 1 character that has to be played by 2 people. Now, exactly how that works, I don't know. But then the other cool thing, and I love when they do little announcements like this, and they're like, and this character is going to be free for everyone at BlizzCon and everyone who has the virtual ticket. And everybody freaks out, But then they're like, well, wait a minute, what about the rest of the world? How do they get it? Well, listen to this. If you get onto Heroes of the Storm with your new character and you have a friend or some random person join you to control this character, because again, it takes 2 people to control this 1 character, if you play 2 matches with this person, then they will get the character and they will be able to share it. So it's kind of similar to how they do the mounts in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's like, I have a mount, here's a mount code. And then you claim it, you get a code, you just pass it along. So it's kind of like that, so it's pretty cool. And then they also said if you manage to play 4 games with this new character with random people, you're also going to get a bunch of in-game gold for Heroes of the Storm. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, they did announce a new map for Heroes of the Storm as well, called Towers of Doom. Next up, we've got Hearthstone, and the announcements they had here were basically short and sweet. They announced a brand new adventure, the League of Explorers, that will have 45 new cards. And this adventure is going to be a little bit different compared to Naxx and Blackrock Mountain, where those were raids. They were just copying the raids from Warcraft. You beat the raid bosses, and that was about it. This one is going to be more like your Indiana Jones type stuff, and you're not necessarily going against bosses. Instead, it's like you're going against these encounters, and there's like time limits and stuff. So as an example, it's like one of them is going to be, you've stolen the golden staff, let's say, and now the temple is falling in on you. You have 9 turns to escape the temple, and you've got to do these things in order to do that. So that's definitely a very interesting approach, a different interesting way of doing things. So that should be pretty cool. And then I love the way that they announced this. And I love it when they do this stuff. The guy said, and so the League of Explorers will be announced or will be released sometime this year. Hold on, maybe I should clarify that. The League of Explorers will be released sometime this month. So that'll be pretty cool. Actually, maybe I should clarify that. The League of Explorers will be released Thursday. And everybody's like, what? This Thursday? Oh, and the crowd goes crazy. It was great. I love it. Like I said, I love it when they do that stuff. It's almost like at E3 when Bethesda had their first ever press event, and they released what was that mobile game? Fallout Shelter, and they're like, and Fallout Shelter is available. He like looks at his wrist right now, and the crowd goes crazy. Good stuff. Good stuff. And finally, the elephant in the room, World of Warcraft Legion, which is the new expansion for that game. And you know what? I've got to say something. I haven't played World of Warcraft for a long time. And some of the changes and additions that they're making to this, I got to say, actually look pretty good. But if you didn't know, they're adding another new class. It's going to be the Demon Hunter. The new zone is going to be the Broken Isles. They're introducing artifact weapons, which are customizable weapons that grow in power as you do. New raids and dungeons, new world bosses, new level cap. They're revamping the PvP progression system. And actually, on that note, one of the big things they talked about at BlizzCon was they're actually revamping a bunch of the systems. And a lot of this, if not all of this, is based on player feedback. I mean, some of these changes are huge. I mean, I think some of these changes are the biggest changes we've seen since probably Cataclysm. You know, they're doing a major talent revamp. I mean, and some of these talent revamps are massive. As an example, Hunter is getting a melee spec. That's what we're talking about here. That's how serious these changes are. They're nuts. They are introducing a wardrobe designer or costume system, whatever you want to call it. And you know what? I hate to say this, but it's the best one I've ever seen in any MMO. It is so good. And then, you know, you can see, I'm posting a few screenshots here, and these screenshots don't do it justice. But just, and again, this is off the top of my head, so I might be forgetting a few things, but just a few examples. I mean, first of all, if anybody plays WildStar, it's real similar to the WildStar system, except for better. So you're able to take any piece of gear in any slot and plug it into this system, and it saves it permanently, not only for that character, but every character on your account. It basically binds that piece of gear to your account. And then if you have it physically, you can throw it away. You don't need that anymore because it gets saved inside of this designer. Then once it's in the designer, you know, you can put it on any one of your characters and you can do all this stuff. Now, here's something that was really, really cool what they said. They said, you know, World of Warcraft has been going on for a little over 10 years now. What we're going to do is we're going to look back in the history of every single one of your characters. Every single quest you've ever done that came up with a gear selection or a gear choice, we're going to not only give you or re-give you every piece of gear you've ever chosen, but we're also going to give you the options you didn't choose. And that was like a jaw-dropping moment when they said that. That's like, really? Holy crap. That's amazing. So they're doing some cool stuff with World of Warcraft Legion. And then finally, the last thing I'll show is they showed off this scouting map. Now, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing with this, but there it is nonetheless. So, World of Warcraft Legion, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft II Legacy of the Void, Diablo 3 Reapers of Soul, and Overwatch. That is the Blizzard lineup for 2015, 2016, and moving forward. As I said, it was a great show. I still have not had a chance to watch all the coverage. I've got a bunch of it backlogged. I need to go back and still catch up on a couple of things. There were times that they had 4 stages running at the same time, and sometimes there were things that I wanted to watch, and they were going on at the same time. So I actually, need to catch up on. I still got a good couple hours of stuff to watch. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That will go ahead and do it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.